The whole family is welcome at Taylor Creek, which is on the California side of the lake, about 6 miles west of South Lake Tahoe. Forest Service interpretive guide Jean Norman meets us at the entrance.
Well, thank you for coming to Taylor Creek Visitor Center today. I hope you're ready for a walk, just a half-mile walk on the Rainbow Trail, part of the U.S. Forest Service lands here at Lake Tahoe Basin Management Unit. That's U.S. Forest Service. A lot of people, for some reason, think we're a national park. They see the uniform. We don't have the smoky hat, okay? We are the U.S. Forest Service. We're in October. We're going to go visit the kokanee salmon today, and we're looking forward to seeing as much wildlife as possible and answering any questions you might have.
Well, somebody is definitely excited to get to see some wildlife.
Reba is welcome on the trail. She's on leash. That's what we like to see. And I hope she has as good a time as we do.
Well, I have a feeling that she's going to find lots of things to smell, so I think she'll have a good time.
You mentioned the Rainbow Trail. I love this beautiful archway that marks the beginning of it. Why Rainbow Trail?
Rainbow Trail, 50 years ago, this is our 50th anniversary. I don't know if you know that. A ranger who was the creator of the Rainbow Trail was walking it that particular morning, bright and early. There was dew on a spider's orb. The sun was shining through, creating this beautiful rainbow, and it just came to him. This should be called the Rainbow Trail.
Why do those trees right there like flutter and make a weird sound when the wind blows?
Well, that's a great question. These are quaking aspen, which you'll find pretty much in every state in the lower 48. They like water, that's why they're here. We're in the meadows, and they flick back and forth. They quake or shake in the wind. And the reason is, take your fingers and feel the stem here coming from the leaf, and it's flat. Do you feel that? So because it's flat, it flicks back and forth, or it quakes. As opposed to the majority of trees out there, if you really take a close look, they're round, and they don't have that characteristic.
The Rainbow Trail is pretty wet today. We squished through, but it's a reminder for visitors to check trail conditions in advance. Taylor Creek boasts 4 unique self-guided trails that are easy to walk.
So we're walking on a new portion of the boardwalk brought to you by the Tahoe Fund. Last summer, they secured funds to help us replace a portion of the boardwalk, widened it, elevated it. It's just beautiful.
Absolutely.
Gorgeous view. You see the ducks, Olivia? This is a great place to talk kokanee salmon. Right over here, we have nature right below our feet. We have a male kokanee salmon and a female kokanee salmon protecting their rocky nest. Red.
Are the salmon native?
The salmon are not native. They were introduced into Tahoe in 1944. They eat phytoplankton. They don't get very big. They don't compete with too many other species, but still they do not belong here. And there are a couple of stories of how they actually got here. One was it was accidental. They overflowed at the hatchery in Tahoe City, and they just rolled into the lake. And the other version is the supervisor told me to do it just to experiment to see if they would find a creek. So we're not quite sure what happened, but they were introduced and they do quite well here. Beavers and bears, the 2 B's.
Did you say beavers and bears?
Beavers and bears. Let's start with beavers. So beavers have lived in Taylor Creek for many years. The dam you see off in the distance, that's been there for several years as well. And we're not quite sure how many beavers we have, but if you guesstimate somewhere between 8 and 10 or 12 and 15, somewhere in that ballpark. We do have little bears, we have yearlings, and we have mature bears that come to Taylor Creek in the fall. For the most part, the majority of bears choose not to come here. There's between 200 and 400 bears in Lake Tahoe Basin, and we might have a dozen or less active in this area in October fishing. During the month of October, the policy we have here is a very important one for all of our viewers to understand. We do not allow food on the trail. We don't want to encourage the bears approaching humans. Bears have a sense of smell that is extremely keen. In fact, it's 2,000 times plus more sensitive to our own noses. And that is for everyone's protection, so the bears can do their bear thing and the humans can do the human thing. It's that simple.
Our last stop on the Rainbow Trail is a special interpretive display, the Stream Profile Chamber.
It was built about 50 years ago. It's been through a couple of renovations, and it's called the Stream Profile Chamber because it's a cutout of a pond. The water's diverted from Taylor Creek into this pond. So the Stream Profile Chamber has lots of names. Visitors will call it the aquarium, the fish ladder, the fish thing, but it is a stream profile chamber. It's a profile actually of a pond. The water is diverted from the stream. In here, we have various varieties of fish. Lahontan cutthroat trout, the only native trout that we have in Tahoe, was placed in here in the springtime when we still have a few left. And the little minnows, Lahontan red cider minnows. If we had aggressive trout in there, there would not be any minnows because, of course, that's food. But the Lahontan cutthroat trout, they just don't seem to get as hungry. They're not very aggressive, so that's why we have minnows in a tank with trout, which is kind of unusual.
Well, this is a cool way to see sort of the natural world right in front of you. What do you see there?
It's a fish.
Which kind of fish? Is that one of the kokanee? I think it is.
So,
It's red.
yeah.
It's trying to say hello to you. Oh, over here, look, over here. There's a bunch right here. Oh, look right here. We got a bunch.
Hi.
Hey guys. Hey, careful, we don't want to scare them away.
Hi. They're all lined up.
Yeah.
Good job.
This is just a reminder, when you come into the Stream Profile Chamber, you see this beautiful mural of all 4 seasons of Taylor Creek and Tahoe. And that just should remind you to come back in the winter to view this place in a whole new light. Put on those snowshoes, put on those cross-country skis, and venture on the Rainbow Trail to take part in this beautiful place.